I woke up to the sound of something that didn't belong. It wasn't loud, but it was wrong and empty stillness in my house, broken by the faintest creak, like weight shifting where there shouldn't be any. I live alone, and that night I had gone to bed around midnight after double-checking all the locks, a habit I've kept since moving into this house on the edge of town. It's not the kind of neighborhood where things happen often, but maybe that's why small details stand out more. You notice when something feels off. I woke up around 3 in the morning with my throat dry, so I decided to get some water. The house was dark, silent, and cold in the way that makes you feel like you shouldn't move too fast. I shuffled out of my bedroom, the floorboards groaning in that familiar way, and headed toward the kitchen. That's when I saw it. The back door wide open. It wasn't just unlocked. It was standing halfway ajar, letting in the pale glow of the security light from outside. A breeze moved through the kitchen, shifting the curtains in small, restless waves. My stomach dropped. I remembered locking that door. I always locked that door. For a second, I tried to convince myself maybe I had only thought I locked it. Maybe I had been careless. But the air felt wrong. The hair on my arms stood up. There is a difference between realizing you forgot something and feeling like something has been undone behind your back. I froze in the hallway, not wanting to step closer. Every horror scenario you can imagine runs through your head in moments like that. Was someone already inside? Were they still in here with me, waiting for me to step into the kitchen? I grabbed my phone from the table by the stairs and turned on the flashlight, my hand shaking as the beam swept across the room. The kitchen looked empty, chairs tucked in, counter clear, no movement. Still, the open door pulled at me like a warning. I thought about calling 911 right away, but some irrational part of me hesitated. What if I had actually left it open? What if I wasted their time? I decided to just check quickly, just enough to reassure myself. I stepped slowly into the kitchen, the tile cold under my feet, every muscle in my body tense. The flashlight beam bounced against the window glass, the sink, the door frame. Nothing unusual except the quiet. I reached the door and looked out into the yard. The motion sensor light had already gone off, leaving only the faint orange glow from the neighbor's porch down the block. My yard was empty. The gate was shut. I shut the door carefully, locked it, and stood there with my hand still on the lock, listening. Nothing, just silence. Trying to calm down, I poured a glass of water, gulped it, and headed back to my bedroom. But halfway up the stairs, I froze again. I heard something. It was faint, just the sound of wood lightly flexing under weight. The kind of sound you know immediately isn't the house settling. It came from the living room, directly below me. I didn't move. My phone light was still in my hand, shining across the stairs. My ears strained, heart hammering, and then I heard it again. A step, then nothing. I didn't want to breathe. The back door. I hadn't forgotten. Someone had opened it. Someone was in my house. I backed slowly up the stairs, every movement deliberate, trying not to make a sound. My bedroom was the only place with a lock. I slipped inside, closed the door softly, and turned the lock with shaking fingers. The silence after was unbearable. Every second stretched out, my mind painting images of someone moving through my house, standing at the bottom of the stairs, listening. I crouched by the bed, phone clutched to my chest, trying to decide if I should call the police. That's when I heard it. Not from the living room this time, from the hallway. A single slow step on the upstairs floorboards. I froze completely. The sound was unmistakable, and it was close, just outside my door. I held my breath, eyes locked on the crack of light at the bottom of the door. For a few seconds, nothing happened. Then, so softly, I almost thought I imagined it. There was a whisper. Not words, just the faint sound of breath pushing through the wood. My phone shook in my hands as I finally dialed 911, trying to keep my voice steady as I whispered to the dispatcher. They told me to stay quiet, to stay where I was, that officers were on their way. I don't remember how long I waited, maybe minutes, maybe an hour, but every creak, every shift of the house felt like it was alive, like someone was still there. I never heard footsteps retreat, never heard the door open again. Just silence pressing in on me until the sound of police knocking at the front door nearly made me scream. They searched the entire house, every room, every corner, every closet. Nobody. No signs of forced entry. No footprints in the yard. Nothing but the back door, slightly smudged on the inside handle as if touched by a damp hand. I never got an answer to what happened that night. All I know is that the door had been locked. And when I heard that step outside my bedroom, I realized something terrifying. Whoever opened that door never left.